But it's a Rover. Yeah, but it's a GTI. Well, welcome back, everybody. Last week you watched me install a head unit into the Rover, and this week you're going to watch me attempt to install some new speakers, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. Reason being is because I just think the speakers in the car aren't particularly great. I've always wondered what it's like to put some aftermarket speakers in. It means that the music that I enjoy listening to, which, as you heard before, planet rock, so basically music from the 80s and the 90s, hopefully it sounds a little bit better. This is only speaker upgrades though. It's not installing an amplifier and it's not installing a subwoofer, which is something I might do later on down the line, because nothing shows my age better than styling a car to look like something from 25 years ago. More of their max power sounding capability as opposed to max power styling. But yeah, so if you'd like to join me now, we're going to head out to the Rover and get some speakers installed. Let's go. Right, so today's job is I'm going to put these Pioneer RS 1350Ss in the back. So I've already taken one of these speakers out. This is what the car comes with. It's not exactly the most elegant speaker. It doesn't sound very loud at all, and it's got this weird clip on the back of it. It's 4 screws, as you can see, located in the 4 corners under here. You'll be able to see it underneath here, and then it's got this little clip on it here as well, which looks like it's got these spade connectors inside. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get these connectors off and then just directly connect into that speaker and then plug it up into the top there, and do the same on this side for that one, which yeah, wish me luck. Right, you join me back again. I'll tell you what, I'll show you this side first. So speakers have been installed, and then this is the cable that they were there. It come with this really long speaker wire. I just wanted to test which side was which side to make sure they were correct. Just popped some spade connectors on the end, and the cable it came with actually had spade connectors on it. Plugged it all in, and it works lovely. What I've done on this side though is taken the opportunity then to trim those wires down instead of them being comically long. Still giving myself a little bit of leeway because I actually want to keep the factory connector on the bottom for 2 reasons. 1, couldn't take it off. And 2, I thought, well, at the end of the day, if the factory one's on there and I ever want to take these speakers out and replace them with the factory ones again, I can do, because they have a lovely little weird pre-made clip on them. In fact, here's one now. They have this connector on the back. But speakers are in. Speakers work lovely. I'm just going to tidy up the other speaker wire on the other side. So this side here, so it's of a reasonable length instead of it being about 20 miles long. And then once I've done that, I've just got to go and install the door speakers. I'm thinking in the future, what might be a good idea is to get a separate amplifier. Ideally a Pioneer one, because the stereo is Pioneer and the speakers are Pioneer. And if I can do that and then have that mounted potentially this side instead of on the back of the seat, and then like board it up, and then put some carpet over the front so you can't see it, and then maybe find a way to have a small 8 or 10 inch sub integrated into here, same again, so that it's hidden away. I think that'll be quite cool. Anyway, I'll get back to you in a minute once I've tidied these cables here up. Right, the cables have been attached. A little bit of a bodge with a little bit of our Gorilla tape on this one here, just because, well, this red one didn't want to stay in. It kept slipping out, but we'll leave it like that for the moment. It still does the job. Not as pretty as this one here. I suppose I really should have used some sort of audio tape instead of that, but I haven't got any to hand. So, yeah, that's it. Speakers in, looking neat and tidy. They'll get tucked away just beyond that little bit of the carpet there. And then the same again, just at the top there. Yeah, and then once that's done, it's all sorted out here in the back for the time being. Cool. Now it's onto the door cards. Right, so onto the exciting job of removing this door card, which I am led to believe is this handle off, and then there'll be 3 screws, one here, and one here. I've got to take this little cap off where the door handle is. There is a screw there, and then a screw in that hole just there, and I should be able to pop the whole thing off and over the locking mechanism. Right, time to take this off and see how successful it goes. Looks like for me this door card had already been off, because that came off comically easily. There's only 2 screws in here and it wasn't even clipped in, it was glued in, so it looks like my replacement procedure will be gluing this back in. Right, next bit. Okay, so next bit, door card is off and is now down here. vapor shield. The vapor barrier doesn't seem to be on this. A bit more of a pain in the bum than I expected, because getting that little screw out was hard. It turns out that I actually do have tweeters. I know the speaker symbol was here, or the speaker is there, but yeah, on a lot of them they weren't really there. It was just an empty spot. Just got to take these out. There's 3 screws, undone those, and then it's just going to be a case of pulling that off and then taking that clip out the back and then seeing what it is I've got to do, because this here is for the tweeters. I might still be able to use them. We'll find out in a minute. I've run into a little bit of a snag here. So it turns out that the speaker I removed, which I've just put in the boot, has this sort of like adapter around it. And so because it has that adapter, the speaker that I've got to replace it will not fit in the hole. It will physically sit in here, but I can't attach it to here. And if I do attach it to there, this bit around the front, which has the speaker grill on it, I have to use this one. I can't use the snazzy looking Pioneer one that it came with. So what I'm going to do is I've hooked up like the leads that are going to go directly into the back of that. I'm going to put the door card back on, which is fine, and then leave the lead hanging out of this hole, and I'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to get some spacers for here, so then I can externally mount the speaker and then still use the faceplate that's on it. The only thing is, because there'll be a gap around it, I want to get like some acoustic foam so that it stops the sound from spreading out from behind the back. Yeah, we'll see how it looks. At least that way, then if I wanted to swap back to standard, I could do. And also I get to see my funky speaker surround, which sits on like that. So yeah, the next time you'll see this, I'll have the door card back on. Right, so we've got the door card back on. Just left the hole for the speaker there for the moment. So what I'll have to do is build something so that that can go here, and I'll put some spacers behind it and then a bit of the acoustic foam to stop the sound from bleeding out, and then they'll sit in the doorway there, and then I can still use my funky looking front pieces. This is all back on for the moment. Tweeter's hooked up. Yeah, done a little extension to the cable. From my investigation, at least on the tweeter, it had, because on the back of these, it's got like a small and a large connector. The small connector appeared to be attached to any of the cables that have the pink line on it. So that apparently is now going to translate to be the black line on this one, because that's what's got the small connectors on it. I've done this side. I've ordered some bits in order to make my sort of like adapter on there so that they'll fit. Just got to do the same for the other side now, which, so I zoom into it, I'm not looking forward to. But hey, these are the things. Right, so first things first, you can see that I'm back in the office, not stood in front of the car. Secondly, I'd like to apologise for the audio quality. I believe it was my mic rubbing against the sort of like waterproof jacket that I was wearing, so very sorry about that. I'm not going to re-record a whole video by taking a load of speaker system out of the car just to not have the... So I did what any professional would do, and I stuck up a sign, and I'm just saying sorry at the back end of the video. Also, what I decided to do, instead of having to go out and get spacers and come up with some elaborate way to try and make it fit properly, I did what all professional DIY enthusiasts and car modifiers do, and that's I just fitted it straight to the door card. Because the door card's solid, bit of plastic, drilled some pilot holes, and then just simply screw the speakers directly to the door card. You could say, was that the right way of doing it? In my case, yes, because it was the easiest way of doing it. But I've had them on the door now for about a week or so. You'll have to forgive me because I didn't record myself installing them on there. I thought I had done, but turns out I hadn't. So what we're going to do instead is I'll take you back out to the car, and then let's go and have a look at what they look like attached to the vehicle. So let's go. Right, I'm outside and inside the car now, as I'm now sat inside the car instead of in the house. Anyway, I've put 4 screws into it. There's 4 connectors that go around the outside of it. They've just gone straight through that front faceplate and through the speaker, through the door card, nice and easy. Done that on both sides. This side here, as you can see, I'll pop the light on, there we go. There's more than enough room, even though it protrudes out a little bit, for my leg to go past it, so you don't catch it while you're driving. And despite the fact that they're open faced, I think they suit it really quite well. Nothing gets caught in them. The sound protrudes out of the speaker reasonably well, as opposed to ones that have got those front faceplates on. And I quite like the way they look. And I'm back in the office after, well, what feels like 5 minutes, because I went outside, recorded that, and then came back inside. Yeah, so not very long at all for you nor I. But anyway, that's off topic. I just wanted to quickly talk about the speakers themselves. So as you saw, I've got the front two in the door cards, other two in the rear, not in the partial shelf, just rear speakers, I suppose, on the same level as the parcel shelf. I must admit that when I first put them in there, I did notice a difference. Now that they've been in there for a little while, not going to lie, I don't think I can tell the difference between them and what the stock speakers are. Now, if you put the two of them side by side, if I had two of the same cars, one with stock, one with these, I'm sure I'd listen to it and go, do you know what? I can actually tell there is a big difference here. Big difference being the key. I think the differences at the moment are more subtle. That head unit only has 4 outputs for, I think it's 4 lots of 50 watts. So these speakers aren't anywhere near what their maximum capabilities are. Also, it's only using the amplifier that's running out of the head unit. Now, I think if I had an actual external amplifier and then ran the speakers through that, not only would it sound a lot better, but it will be a heck of a lot louder. So if I was just to say to you, look, I just want to upgrade the head unit and my bass speakers, yeah, do the head unit, because you saw in the last video, 1, you get all the extra features that you want, and 2, it does add some clarity in comparison to a stock head unit. But as for the additional speakers going around and doing these ones, to put it into a percentage term, I can't say that there's 100% difference. I'd probably say there's a 5 to 10% difference that I can hear with my ears. I think they need to be amplified via an external amplifier separate from the head unit. So I think the next step for me is 1, amplifier, and 2, possibly a subwoofer as well, because although these do these upgrades have made changes, I don't think it's enough. Well, I've said it about 6 times now. It's not enough. It's not enough. You need an external amplifier in comparison, and I think that's what needs to be installed in order to make this a better sounding system. So ultimately, yeah, I've spent some money, and if you were to do it yourself, I would say don't buy the speakers for your car first, buy the amplifier and then your speakers. So I now need to go back, get an amplifier, and hook that up into the car, which will be, I can only assume, a video that will come later on down the line. However, though, I really appreciate the fact that you may have gotten to this point in the video. If you have enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell me about your system, tell me about your advice. If you think there's something I should have done differently, excluding you should have installed an amp or you should have installed a sub, do you know what, even if you think that, put that down there, because then it just confirms what I thought in the first place. Yeah, leave your comments, like I say, like, subscribe, let me know. If you've got any ideas of things that I could do to the car, could do with the car, go places, go for a drive, whatever it may be, let me know. And, you know, if I've got a free weekend and it's involving me driving somewhere and doing something, I'd quite like to do that. So let me know so I can go see something interesting, do a challenge on the way, whatever it may be. Yeah, thank you very much for taking your time. Enjoy your afternoons, evenings, your poos, whatever it is that you're doing, because you might be sat on the toilet watching this, you might be laying in bed watching it. If you are laying in bed, I suppose I'll tilt my head so it looks like I'm looking at you dead in the eye. That's a bit weird. Anyway, have a great evening. Bye-bye.